Hello, everyone. Very good evening. Thank you for joining today. Today we have Amit Kumar with us. He is a solution architect and he is 8 times Sitecore Technology MVP. Today's topic is from AI suggestions to secure execution. As AI is evolving rapidly, the shift from simple suggestions to secure autonomous execution is transforming how enterprises operate. So, in this session, Amit will cover how MCP and Sitecore Marketer MCPs are enabling agentic AI in real world and enterprise environments. If you have any questions during the session, please drop it into the chat session. We will try to cover all the questions, all the queries at the end of the session. If you have any other doubts, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Over to you, Amit.
Yeah, thank you, Khushbu. Thank you everyone for joining this session. So please first confirm that are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Amit.
Okay, so let me start. So as Khushbu explained about that, today I will be explaining how the AI can be used into the enterprise in a secure way. So coming to the agenda, so here I will be touching upon why this matter now means why the AI is nowadays important, and I will explain the AI concept at a high level, like what is the agentic AI and uh, Chat GPT or MCP, and then I will be explaining about a little bit about MCP fundamentals. Then I will be also showing what is Sitecore Marketer MCP and how the we can extend and adopt into our enterprise solution and how the responsible AI work in practice. So that will I will be explaining and we can have a Q&A at the end. So this is a little bit about me. So I am having around a 20 plus 21 plus years of experience. So I will be mostly working on the Microsoft tech stack, and also I am currently working as a solution architect with the Avnat, which is a joint venture between a Microsoft and an Accenture. So coming to the first section or the first slide, why this matters now and where the enterprise gaps are present. So all you are using the Gen AI nowadays. So if you have seen, most people are using the Chat GPT or using the Microsoft provided AI functionalities, Cloud or anything to generate the text and the images, right? Like a co-pilot. So this, when you are using the co-pilot or you are using the Gen AI, right? When you are combining both together, so what they can do that they can generate just a content for you, or they can summarize it, or they can provide you the insight. They can search the internet, or they can search the internet data. Suppose if you are using the co-pilot, so it can search the internet data. They can provide the insight, but they can't take any action uh, automatically unless and until you will not ask them to do that. So suppose if you are using that chat GPT or Copilot, so you are seeing that at the end they will ask you, can I do these things? So they are not able to take the decision by their own unless and until you are not telling them. So that's why the AI implementation challenges comes into the picture. So when you are using the enterprise solution or you are working for an organization where the more securities are there, then it cannot take any action which automatically they need to take it. They are dependent on you. And second part is that execution as a bottleneck, right? So in terms of execution, so suppose if you are told that this is my prompt and generate this. So they will not generate a output in a one shot unless and until you feed the data or you can nourish them by providing the data, right? So they are not intelligence enough to take any decision to find a specific thing. So for example, if you are telling them to uh, go through any of the database table, right? They can't go and access a specific database table because they will be not able to access it because they are not able to find the tools which can be utilized to get a data. So that is the execution bottleneck of the AI currently. And how we can expand them is through the integration. So suppose if you have gone through the AI Foundry, or if you have experience on the cloud where you are having an option to connect with the different tools, right? So for example, you can also connect the uh, Figma MCP, right? That is nothing but a tools or a integration. You can connect the Jira also, right? So those are nothing but the integration points are the tools which you can integrate that. Then only you can provide the true enterprise solution for your AI implementation. But in those cases, we also need to look into that how the access have been implemented. So that's why all the organization is not willing to utilize the AI because they are not able to control or govern the systems. But the Copilot and Gen AI just can reduce the time to produce anything. They can analyze this, but they can't take any action. Right? That is the things. So in those cases, we need a one standardized execution, which is a secure, right? And having all the enterprise level granularity in terms of access will be implementable, and it will be a production ready, and it is also can be deployed to the any of the cloud native solution or those type of things, right? So that's why we need a standardized secure execution layer, right? Versus the ad hoc integration. So you can upload the document to the Copilot, or you can just connect the your SharePoint library, right? Those are the ad hoc integration, but it is not a, you can say that a automatic integration. It cannot be, it is not a automatic integration because you are manually providing this. So that's why the need for the uh, MCP tool arises, which can bridge the gap of this manual integration as well as the autonomous intelligence to take any actions. So that's why this slides will be coming why this matters now. So now moving to the brain without hands problem. So it means you are using any type of Claude or you are using the GitHub Copilot. So you are utilizing the LLMs, large language models, right? So that can write a blogs, right? But they cannot reliably create the pages, which is a need for any type of implementation which you are doing it, right? They cannot write a code for you or anything without asking with you. They cannot add a component. They cannot attach a asset, or even they cannot publish a specific content by adhering to the governance. So that's why the currently the AI is brain without the hands. So it means when you are working for a enterprise project, right? So you will be arising with the enterprise governance challenges, because when you are proposing any type of AI solution to any organization, so you need to follow some standard rules that which type of LLM models you need to use and what type of permission you need to give to the your AI model so that they can execute the task, and there should be a proper approval or something if we need to follow. So this Gen AI and the Copilot cannot do that, right? So in those cases, we need to rely on the Agentic AI and the MCP. So because they are providing the clear separations of concerns, and also when they are executing some things, they are giving you the complete set of information, what method is being used and what are the data set is being passed. So those cases, they are providing the complete information. So in those cases, what I am trying to explain with this slide that so AI is only can generate the text, summarize it, but it cannot perform any intelligence. So in those cases, because enterprise rely on the permission approvals, so that cannot be taken care by the AI itself. So that's why we need to rely on the other complementary roles like agentic AI and MCP to implement the complete enterprise level implementation, which will be utilizing the AI. So now I will be explaining about a AI concept. So for example, I am touching about what is Gen AI, Copilot, AI agent, and the agentic AI. So as you are all aware about that, Gen AI can generate the content like you can utilizing the GPT-4 or a Claude. Those are intelligent enough, right, to generate a text, code, summaries, and ideas, right? So their strength is that content creation, summaries, and the ideation, but they cannot do the having the execution capability. They cannot directly access a tools or any systems, and also they cannot do any planning because they are relying on the large language model LLMs. So they can't do these things. They can just summarize it. So for example, ChatGPT can draft a blog post, but it cannot publish it, right? So like if you are using the Copilot, so Copilot is nothing but a your assistant, right? Because in the Copilot you can attach any LLM model. So Copilot is simply embed the GenAI directly into the tool, like you can use a VS Code, you can use the Microsoft 365 or a Cursor. So they observe user context only and provide the suggestion in real time. So for example, if you are performing any action or telling to do these, do this. So they will summarize, uh, or you can say that the save your context, and on the basis of that, they will return you the output. So suppose if you are telling summarize this requirement or do these things, and next time if you will ask do this, so they will take the context of the past conversation which you have just tell them, and they will give the answer. So like that, they are working in a in context recommendation, right? So those are the strength of that, right? And they are providing the excellent user experience. Why? Because they are giving you the markdown compatible output and those things that you can simply embed into your markdown file. So that's why it is providing a best user experience because it's an interacting video. But they are not autonomous. They are limited to the host application because you cannot deploy them to a many places and you can access via cloud. You required a something assistant to integrate them, and they cannot orchestrate your workflow, right? It means that suppose if you are telling to create a content into the site core, right? Because they are not having access to any of the things, so they can't do that. The AI agents, right? So AI agent is nothing but they are the specialists, you can say that. They can execute tasks using the tools. So AI agent wraps the Gen AI with a specific goals and a set of tools. So they can execute a predefined task such as fetching the data, find all broken links, filtering results. So suppose if you have worked on the GitHub Copilot, so there also you can create the agent. So agent is nothing but a instructions and you are giving the code base to do the things. So for the simplest example is that if I am creating a agent which needs to uh, do the Chrome Dev Tools analysis, right? So what I can say that so into the Copilot AI agents that those are the simple you can say that the markdown file and you need to write instructions into that. So you can say that if user is telling do the website analysis, right? So you need to go to the your current system browser, open the browser and ask user to take the inputs which URL needs to be validated, and then you need to run the Chrome DevTools and you need to provide the output in a tabular format which will be having a column 1, 2 or 3, right? So that way you can guide the agent to perform the action and use the set of the tools, right? So they can execute predefined tasks as I was explaining, such as fetching data or finding the performance of a website, broken links. So their strength is that they can do the task execution. They can do the API based automation because if you have worked in the AI Foundry, so in AI Foundry you can also add SharePoint, you can use the Azure AI search and those things you can do that. And into the agent you can say that if user is asking to search this content, then use the source as a Azure AI search to get the data, right? and those are the goal-oriented behavior. So every agent is having a one set of goals which agent needs to perform. So it's always good to create a multiple agent and create an orchestrator which will call based on your needs. So you don't need to create a agent with a multitasking thing, right? So their limitations are that so they are dependent on the available integration, and you need to always write a API wrapper or something to utilize the any tools. So it's limited planning unless until you are not combining it with the agentic AI, right? So for example, an agent retrieving the flight data from an API. So that is a one sort of a agent. The agentic AI means that the manager. So it will plans, orchestrate, and multiple steps goals. It means agentic AI uh, generally introduce a autonomous, and it will do the reasoning, and it will also do the planning. So it will not follow the scripts or anything. It will break the task into a small sets of goals, and then it will assign a specific tools to each goals which can be achieved. And also, if any failures are there, it will automatically retries from their side, and it will try to execute the alternate option also if it's available, right? And it will also evaluate the outcome and share the details that what is working or not. So strength is that it can do the multi-step planning, it can do the tool selection. So it's self-evaluation and retries. It means that it will automatically identify that suppose this method is failing or tools is failing, which one needs to call. Because you are giving a set of the tools to the uh, agentic AI, and then only it is finding that. So for example, simple example is that suppose if you have a set of a Sitecore Marketer MCP tools, and you are also having your own custom Sitecore MCP tools. So suppose if you haven't provided the instructions, like if you are doing this set of action, you need to use a specific MCP tool, then automatically it tries the other MCP tools which are available to perform the action if the primary one is failing. So for example, if you will say that planning a trip by checking weather, compare flights and booking within a some specific limitation, then automatically it will divide the goals like I need to get a weather information, I need to compare the flight, and I need to do the booking, right? And then automatically it will assign and it will give you the output. So nowadays, if you will go to any of the travel portal, right? So generally you can also try to create the your travel itinerary automatically, just giving that what you need. So those are the nothing but a agentic AI working in the backend to provide you the information. So this is the compatibility matrix which will provide you the quick view like how these can be compared. So I have explained in the theory, but if you need to get a glance how they are uh, comparing with each other, like a GenAI primary goal is content generation, and Copilot is in-tool assistant, and AI agent can execute the task, and agentic AI can plan plus reason plus act. So that is the main you can say the differences between. So if you are trying to work with any of these things, so this slide or a compatibility matrix provide you the quick view how to utilize any of the things. So this is just a different view of that means compatibility comparison across AI models, right? So generate content. So GenAI can generate content, Copilot can generate content, even all can generate the content. But automatically operation can be done by the AI agent and agentic AI. Reason and plans only can be done by the agentic AI. Standardized tool access, right, cannot be done by any of the things. So now moving to the next section that is called MCP fundamentals. So earlier we have seen that the all the enterprise are looking for a some sort of a uh, integration points which can bridge the gap for the uh, autonomous as well as the governed integration, right? So what's missing between AI and enterprise system is the marketer MCP tool because it will provide the standard tool discovery. So it can be type inputs and outputs like predictable execution will be there. Permission plus auditors, you can also do that, and it will be a consistent execution gateway. So in simple words, like when we are building any application in our website or any application, Windows application. So suppose if we need to connect with any third party system, so we generally write a integration point where we are telling to get the data or set the data like how we are getting the data from the database. So we are directly doing the point to point integration with the some system. But when you are working with the uh, AI, right? So you cannot write a code in your GitHub Copilot or something like that. Anyhow, then you need to create a, some sort of action, and you need to deploy your API endpoint to some cloud or somewhere which can be accessible to the uh, your GitHub Copilot or anything, right? So, but the MCP uh, provide the one set of a standard tools because it's work in a client and server mode. So whenever you are using any MCP tools, you are just trying to uh, use the client, and then client is making a call to the server, right? So MCP is just an open standard. You can say that a method, or you can say that a open standard protocol type of things, right? Which can connect the AI system to the external tools, right? So you do not need to uh, write any codes, right? For example, the Figma MCP servers are there. So those are the open source MCP tools. So you just need to define the URLs, and then automatically you can connect that to the tools in a secure way. Why? Because when you are using any Figma MCP server, so it will ask you to open the Figma MCP. It will ask you to, it will prompt you to access what Figma MCP tool access you are having, and then when you are entering the user ID and password, so that will be at a in-memory storage will be happening at your Copilot assistant, and that can be utilized in that manner. But whenever you will restart or those things, then again you need to enter the credentials, right? So that way it is providing you a secure way. The tool discovery plus invocation means that it enables the tool discovery. Suppose if you will say that if I need to perform a create item, so which tools are I can use that, right? So automatically you will get a list of the tools, or when you will typing it, you can select those tools also because it is providing you the uh, list of the tools which you can utilize it, right? And also the it will be giving you the output also in the window which tools have been executed. Suppose if you are using the GitHub Copilot, there is a output window is there. So there you will be seeing that what tools have been used and what are the method within that tools have been used. That will be clearly giving you the option. And also it's nothing but a these tools are just a backend code itself, but it have been exposed to the AI word in the form of a MCPs, right? So it is also giving you the type schema. Suppose if you need to get a content from the Sitecore content tree, so you need to pass the site name, you need to pass the URL also, or if you need to get a item details, so you need to pass the ID or a URL also. So that way it is giving you the typed schema. So you need to pass a string item if it expecting, or if you are uh, expecting a numeric value, then you need to pass the numeric value, right? So and permission scope execution, right? So MCP provides the contract and the runtime uh, things it's providing you so that the AI agent can safely invoke the action. As I was explaining that it will ask you to log in it. It means before accessing any of the tool, if you will starting that, it will authenticate you and then authorize you also, then only you can invoke any of the things. So it's a permission based scoping is there. So auditability and the governance will be there because whenever you are executing anything, it is auditing the details. And also, uh, the last thing is that MCP is not an AI model, right? It's a bridge. So what it can do that it is connecting the AI agent with the tools, right? So it means MCP complements the existing AI and enable them to reuse all the tools and take the autonomous actions, right? So it's not an AI model, it's just a set of tools or a integration points which can be utilized by the agentic AI to do any sort of a autonomous execution. So in simple words, suppose for example, if you are having a AI or API host, right? So for example, you are using the GitHub Copilot, and in this you have integrated the any of the MCP tool like a Figma MCP, simple example, or Sitecore Marketer MCP, then that will be treated as a MCP client. So right. So when you are telling that to get the content from a content tree, right? So then the remote procedures calls will be happening, right? So which will be here the AI agent will be discovering the tools itself, right? So it will call the specific MCP server to execute any of the tools, right? And MCP server internally access the resources or a backend system or anything, and it will return back the data or a context, whatever you are doing it, back to your MCP client, and then your MCP host will display that data. So I will show you in a minute how it's working. So that way the you are having the MCP client and you are having the MCP server, right? And that way your API will be GitHub Copilot or any of the chat GPT or a Cloud, you can integrate your MCP server, which will be now treating as MCP client when you are executing it, and then it will call the MCP server and it will return you the address. So that way you can imagine that how these are working together. So now coming to how when we are, so earlier we have seen that agentic AI was not enough to do the all the things in the enterprise system. So when you will combine the agentic AI plus the MCP. So what happened that if user is coming to perform any of the actions, right? So user will tell that my goal is to get the list of the Sitecore item. So agentic AI reason and plan, and then automatically it will invoke a specific tools, and then MCP server execute it and return you the result. So internally, if you are seeing that MCP server validate the request, suppose if I am expecting that you need to pass the user ID also for a specific user to get the content, and I have wrote the MCP tools which are expecting that. That way we can govern the tools or anything, whatever the role-based access we need to implement that, we can do that. So that's why the enterprise adopt the MCP tool because it's a standard protocol instead of a one-to-one integration. It's a discoverable or it will providing you the catalog of a tools and it will provide the predictable inputs and outputs because when you are using any of the MCP tools, so your agent will be knowing that what type of input and outputs is provided by a specific tools, right? And you are also having the auditability and the governance by design. So that's why enterprise applications are very keen to utilize the MCP tools, and you can also explore these things in your application. So MCP tools, so they are the clear boundaries which you need to be also understand. So it does not reason, plan or choose goals. It cannot make a decision. So it enforces the schemas and permissions, and it will also execute and provide the auditability. But it cannot reason it because MCP is just a integration point. If you say that get the data, right, it will give you the output, but it cannot think about that, okay, my this tool is not working, I need to go and find some other tool within my MCP server to do that. So this clear bonding make MCP enterprise friendly. So those things also we need to aware about that. So you cannot do anything independently with the MCP tools. So you need to integrate the agentic AI solution or any GenAI things into your system. So let's come to the Sitecore Marketer MCP. So Sitecore Marketer MCP also applies MCP to Sitecore marketing task. So it's a tool set for the marketing workflow. Like if you are telling that create a item based on this page, so it can do that, right? So it's based on the natural languages. It executes Sitecore actions and it will connect the agents to the Sitecore through the Sitecore Agentic API. So what it means that Sitecore Marketer MCP is built on top of the Sitecore Agent API. So suppose if you need to implement any sort of Sitecore Marketer tools, then you can utilize the Sitecore Agent API or you can utilize the edge endpoints to do uh, to perform any action on this because Sitecore have provided all the tools and it will work with the multiple LLM clients like a Claude ID and the Copilot Studio. So what it generally do, it exposes Sitecore content and the marketing feature as governed by the MCP tools and you can just use or utilize your Cloud or other things to do the natural language based things like create a pages, update components, or manage assets or triggering workflow. So those things you can do that. So all actions in this, whenever you are using the Sitecore Agent API, so they will also respect your permission. Why? Because whenever you are trying to use the Sitecore Marketer MCP, when you will run it, it will ask you to log in it into your Sitecore AI cloud portal, and then it will also ask you to select a specific tenant which you are having access. So it means it will respect you the permissions also. So that way it is a enterprise ready solution. If you need to create any autonomous solutions or anything, then you can utilize the Sitecore Marketer MCP itself. So it is a simple information about a capabilities and the architecture. So it is similar to the previous one where I have tried to explain that. So here the only difference is that I have replaced the normal MCP server with the Sitecore Marketer MCP, which is internally accessing the Sitecore Agent API, and it will then accessing the Sitecore platform like a Sitecore AI to get the data. So it will also unlock the key capabilities like if you need to create a component, manage localization, personalization, or you need to apply any sort of things, you can utilize it. So it is giving you a more than 32 tools which you can utilize into your day-to-day work. If you are having a any Claude or GitHub Copilot Enterprise access, then it's best to utilize these tools. So you will get a with the Sonnet LLM model, you will get a good output when you are utilizing the Sitecore Marketer MCP. So how it will affect your day-to-day work? Like before MCP, AI suggests some steps, right? So suppose if you will tell that your Gen AI or a Copilot, I need to create a content in my site. So it will give you the list of the steps, but it will not perform the things. So whichever the things you were doing manually, that is being replaced with the MCP server, right? And it will also execute safely because it will be based on the permission and you will also get the audit. So it will give you the report that I have updated these items, these items. That way it will provide you the information. So now coming to the extending MCP with the custom .NET tools. So here I will explain you how you can create your own MCP tools in a .NET. So you can do in the any of the language itself, but I am very comfortable in the C sharp, so I did that. So what I did that, so I have just taken this monkey service. This is the, if you will go to the official Microsoft MCP SDK, then you will find the MCP tools. So this is nothing but they are giving you the set of the services, right? Which you can utilize, and also they have created some sort of a eco tools, so which will you will with the help of these code you will be able to understand how to write a custom MCP tool. So based on that, what I did that I have created a one simple site code tools called a get child details. So what I am trying to do that, so suppose if you need to create any set of a MCP tool. So these are the some namespaces or class you need to inherit it. And also you need to define a async method or a task. Also, I have created AI service, means I am using the dependency injection to call this AI service. So here there is a parameters are there, right? So so suppose if you are expecting that the path or you are expecting a language, right? So you need to define normally as you are doing in the your normal function definition. But here is the description parameters are there. So suppose if you are expecting a item path or if you are expecting a item GUID, so you need to give a some set of clear instruction what you are expecting it from the user, and also the description, so language code for the item. So you are already defining the default is en, and also I am defining in this. So suppose if you are having a 4 or 5 parameters which you are expecting from the user, so you can define it here. So when the user is trying to get the output, right, using your MCP tools, so AI agent will automatically able to access the typecast and typed data set, right, which are expecting in the payload. So it will automatically ask the item path or a GUID language code. Those things will be automatically asked by the tools because it's a discoverable, which I have explained previously. And also you need to give the description in a human understandable format, or you can say that the normal prompt you need to give, like in retrieve child item details from Sitecore, right? That way you can define that. And in the AI service, what I did that I have accessed the this Sitecore Edge API with my API key, and I am using the uh, you can say that the HTTP simple post method to get the data. So same way you can create a number of a tools, but this is just for a demo purpose, but you need to make it modular so that you do not need to pass the API keys or anything are hard coded, because when you are working with the MCP tools, just for demo purpose I am passing it hard coded. Generally these needs to be shift into the environment variables, right? And your MCP tool will automatically pass these keys to use you. So that way you need to implement that. You don't need to hard code this, because if you are moving from a one environment to another or one user to other, so everyone will be not using your credentials. So those should needs to come from the dot environment file. So once you are deploying that into Azure or anywhere, so you need to utilize the environment files, and for that you need to do some sort of a, you can say that a programming to get the data from the environment variable. You need to write a custom logic to get it. That way you can make it generic. So now once suppose I am having a this in local, right? Because I have not deployed this tool into the online. So how I can access that? So what I did that show you. So currently when you are using the Cloud desktop, so it will providing you a this JSON file which is globally deployed. But when you are using with the your GitHub Copilot or anything, so you will be having a VS Code files will be there. Let me show you that also. So there you need to define your MCP tool name. So you can give any name here. So it's up to you whichever names you want to give that. That way you can give the name. So why I have given the command, because I am executing the .NET code base. So that's why I have mentioned that C program files .NET exe. So I need to give the my .NET exe pass. So here you do not need to deploy it because you are using these clouded desktop or anything, right? So they are having the capability to access your code base. You do not need to deploy. So automatically, if you will give the path, right, they will be able to access the tools and they will be able to explore the tools itself, which they needs to do that. So for example, if you will see here, so I will say that again I will execute that. So when you will restart your clouded desktop, right? So automatically these tools will be comes into the picture. So I will say that custom M3P tool details. So it will give me the list of all the tools which I am having, like get monkeys, get setting, get child details. These are my tools, right? So how you can see that? So this is one of my tools, right? And selling service is having some tools, get all selling things, and monkey service is also having sorry, and these two tools, right? So suppose if I will say that uh, get monkeys, right? So this is also is accessing a data from a third party service. I will show you that also. So this is the list of the service rice listing which it is accessing it, and it is giving you the details of those things because it is accessing this JSON file internally in the code, and it is giving you the data like how you are seeing it here. So now if I will say that get monkey this, so it will be internally executing the that specific details, and it will give you the all the details. So now with that way you will be able to create any set of tools. Suppose if you are having any business logic or anything, you can do that. So now coming back to our Sitecore, suppose this is my content tree, okay, and I am using this content tree for the testing purpose. So suppose if I will say that get child details, so it should ask a item ID or path, right? So how it is knowing that? Because I have mentioned those things in my tools here, right? So that's why. So suppose if I will give the path, so it will go and make a call to the Edge API and it will return me the data. Okay, so if you will see that it will passing that as a parameter and it is giving me the all the data, right? So suppose it also giving you, would you like to drill down to any other? So suppose if I will say a this also, now if I will pass a home test this, right? So it will take the path also and it will give me the data, right? So that way, as I was explaining that it is self-explanatory which tools needs to be accessed because MCP tools will exposes the list of the tools to you so that automatically tools can be accessed by the AI agents or whatever you are using it LLM model. So that way it will be a self-explanatory. So that way you can create a n number of tools. Suppose if you are having the Sitecore Marketer MCP tools and you are not able to fulfill your case use cases, so you can utilize uh, any of the tools. Yes. So I have come to the end of this demo, this session, because the main agenda of the here is that I need to explain why the MCP is required and how we can securely execute the MCP tools and how we can create the or extend using the .NET. So if you guys are any questions or anything, then you can feel free to ask me. I'm open for the questions.
Any questions, anyone? You can unmute yourself and discuss with Amit.
If you are not having any question currently, you can feel free to ping me any times. So I will be
Yep.
happy to provide the input.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I think there are no questions, Amit. Anything else from your end? All good?
Yes, I am fine. So the thing is that if you are using the AI, right? So the main thing is that you cannot go and straight away start utilizing it. So you need to use the responsible AI in practice. That is a thumb rule of using any of the AI feature. Okay. Recommended starting points, governance for the safe AI adoption, and responsible AI principles, right? So always human in loop should be required. So don't create anything which is autonomous based by the AI. Always include the human oversight or a human in loop so that it will always having a one side of review from the human. So you should not be blindly rely on the AI to do any of the things. Otherwise, it's your responsibility because you are giving the uh, output to anyone. So that's why when you are using any of the chat GPT Cloud A, so they already mentioned that it's AI generated and it's your responsibility to review it, right? So that way you need to use the AI with the responsibility. That's why you are finding a responsible AI word everywhere whenever you are using this. So the core principle are enforce least privileges access, enable logging, monitoring, and audit trail, keep clear human accountability for the outcome. This is the thumb rules or a principles you need to always follow. So you can, what are the links which I have used? So if you will scan the QR code, you will be easily able to find all set of links which you can utilize to learn more about the MCP tools or how to build those, right? And I can post this in the chat if you wanted. That will be easy. Don't know you guys will be having access later or not, but for the time being, you can utilize this. And
Yeah.
you
I
can,
think you want to copy, then copy it now because you will
yes,
not have access to the
access.
chat later on.
Yes. So thank you again for joining in a weekdays. Because whenever I am sharing it, because you guys are not asking any questions, so it's bad for me. Why? Because I will be not able to learn more unless and until you guys are not asking any question. Because when you will ask the question, it will allow me to think what I have learned and I will try to share, right? So it's good.
Yes.
It will be a two-way is interactive or a two-way communication. Otherwise, uh, it will be not good for me because you should be having a question because
Mhm.
otherwise how you will learn it. Right?
Agree, but the session was informative, Amit. We got to learn a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you all for joining, for spending time with us. And thank you, Amit, for presenting. It was very informative. I'll share the
Thanks.
recording later.
Michelle.
So you guys will have link to the recording as well. And you can reach out to Amit as well whenever you have any questions. You can reach out to me if you want to present or you have any doubts related to any topic or any doubt related to user group. Feel free to reach out. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you, Kushbu. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.